Meanwhile, they retrieve their player off to the north after the Freaks drop right on top of them, and now we wait and see what the next circle provides. Are we going to Los Leones, Toby?
We very well could, and indeed we are. City galore. If you're wise on this one, Valentine, just go in west. Even, go all the way up here towards the further west. There's nothing to come for trying to backtrack all these teams going in. And you can see that's exactly what they're doing down here on the eastern side right now. Nice, quick reaction to this one, because if you don't do it now, other teams are going to try and beat you to that exact same rotation. You're going to see the exact same thing on the western side here. Teams trying to wrap all the way around the western side. They know that the north side of Los Leones is going to be free based on where these last circles have taken us. So D+ here, Twisted Minds out towards the west, making that exact same rotation. So smart to avoid this cluster down here that will be the destruction of multiple teams.
And it is a destruction indeed, as 4 AM already taking multiple knocks. They've got Waibu right on top of them. Spaceman and Shen, the last two alive. Shen will pick up that Pumpy as he makes his way through the doors. Spaceman, come provide him some support as they double peek through here. They know somebody's around these corners. The flashbang comes through. The shotgun works. There you go. 1 for 1. And 2 for 2 is Wang Zai. Will get the knock on a Spaceman. The Pumpy's ready. But no, he misses him. Was he blind? I'm not sure if the flashbang went off in time, but he does manage to get through. 2 ships passing in the night. Wang Zai will finish off that kill onto Spaceman. Get one more point at least for 4 AM.
I feel bad for Spaceman because I think Wang Zai was shooting at Shen, but then knocked Spaceman behind him because he whiffed on the initial spray. But sometimes it do be like that as Shen tries to stay put. Again, if there's a player to be able to pull off solo miracles, it would be this man right here, the Malaysian currently playing in China. Fortunately for him, Wang Zai probably hurt him with the nade in hand, peeks out and takes him down.
Here you go, Wang Zai. We'll try to get the res onto HSM, but man, I don't think it's there. It's taking a little bit too much time. A number of teams already looking over in this direction. Now he does get that smoke down, so might be able to be salvageable here. Is New Happy down to just Ming Ming and Long Skur. They do have a foothold here on the south side of Los Leones phase, just off to their north, but still a number of teams off to the south. You still have 4 AM, Sonic's coming in through there, Bleed still having 1 player alive, TSM coming through there as well. Valley will find their way. They don't go all the way up north, Toby. Instead, they cut in to the southeast, but they find a foothold.
And look at the cluster of teams that are still trying to creep their way in from the western side of this circle. Southwestern be it. Sonics now as well trying to fend off against any last teams approaching from this direction. Because again, it's a late game circle. There's been a lot of action in the kill feed. You can't make sure there isn't maybe a solo somewhere that has snuck through. And you have to be so sure that the likes of Batulans or someone like that doesn't creep up behind you when you're 4-man strong and take out 2 of your guys.
Yes, indeed. Well, they do have Alcaran just right on the other side. I don't think they're aware of him just yet. Tigger going to try to make his way in from the blue zone. Unfortunately for him, his teammate Jacob has been spotted out by Valley. And there you go, the circle going to cut north once again. Twisted Minds having that northern control. They've got D+ just off to their east. They've got to be careful about over-peaking this and being too cavalier with how they rotate in between buildings, because you never know where that line of sight is going to be.
And look at how well rewarded both Twisted Minds and D+ gets off of this rotation they made early on. Valentine too, yes, they're outside the circle, but that's only because they were fending off against the remaining arena player. This was really, really nice. We get to see the replay here of Xiaopian's 1v3, a full-on 1v3, no help coming through from the side. Again, a bit of an awkward breach from a Legacy, who usually is really good when it comes to these up-close fights, but today has just not been going in their favor.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for them as they finish the day with 8 points. And there we go, another late game pickup here for Armory. It worked out so far very well for Kwangdong Freaks. And we'll see if it works out for Armory any better. Dynasty's gone down, Jamie gone down. They managed to get 2 in there at least, as Riz will find his way into the top side.
When you're where they were before they committed to that pickup, had they driven to the city, they would have died. So you know what? Surviving with 2, it's one of those, we take that. We knew where the odds were against us.
Yeah.
The anti-air guns were placed all over the city to deny the entry, and somehow we have 2 lives. We'll take those.
You know, it's weird to say it, but it's even weirder still that it's true. Oh no, Luke 12 will get the knock on a Shrimsy right after Shrimsy pulled the pin, so that's an immediate knock and flush. Sonic's now down to 3, but TSM just looking for the angles. Purdy Curdy's Blue zone grenade will take out 2, and now Sonics is all of a sudden right up against it. H with the last one alive. He's gonna go down as well. TSM like a knife through warm butter.
You mentioned the skill set that these boys have when it comes to util, and they waste no time clearing the entire building with blue zone nades. And once they know exactly where those blue zone nades won't hit, they lob in frags to put to those exact spots. Such a great play. You see Morgan trying to get something done, but in the end, the blue got the better of him.
But again, once again, Alcaran, they knew that that solo player was there, so they stay behind, clear him out, make sure that they don't get bit in the ankles by a snake that they didn't even expect. Wang Zai, the last one for 4 a.m. though. This could be another snake situation. FaZe Vex is looking over in that direction. Wang Zai with the DBS. Oh, that's not what you want to see if you're a TSM fan. Sneaking right behind them through the smokes with that DBS in hand. Look at the smokes laid down for TSM. They had so many.
I thought he was going to join their smoke track. Instead, he goes for the 9 first aids. He's going to sit out here for a little while longer. With 30 players still alive, though, placement points are a bit far away. 10 teams eliminated coming into Phase 5. This one could stall out, with many buildings still being available. Having said that, we do see teams split quite wide as the circle goes center once more.
And Freaks looking like absolute geniuses for that Circle 3 E pickup to the dead center of Los Leones. It is paying off dividends right now.
Yep.
Let's see if it can pay off in a win. TSM now scrapping with New Happy on the edge of that circle on the south side. Remember, Wang Zai still down there for 4 a.m. Could become a factor if he can get in there, and TSM not really expecting it. FaZe, they're in fantastic position as well, but now they have to start making moves towards the north. Looks like they are very well aware of all the teams just to their south, and they would like to be able to clean this up before really committing to that next spot inside the zone.
Wang Zai on a first aid hunt here. He's only got 4 left to work with, and this damage is going to take him all the way down to 4 health. He's going to have to pretty much instantly pop them as he makes his way further forward, and with this one closing on in, it's not looking good for him. Down to 4 once more as he continues to maneuver forward. He's going to spot Halo, and thus the snake has bit.
Oh my God, I had to say it, didn't I? They've been doing so well, but what a play by Wang Zai to make sure that he secures that kill, and there you go, TSM will be eliminated, but not before they collect a nice little stack of points for themselves. 5 kills, they're securing 5th place in the lobby overall, so not a bad day there for TSM.
Definitely. A way that I think they would really want to start it off. I mean, if you're a pro player, you're always looking to, we could have done better, we could have gone better.
Oh, always, yeah.
But I think for TSM, that is a phenomenal beginning to the day.
Absolutely. FaZe Clan actually in a great position to really add to their good performance so far today here. Ming Ming and Longster just playing around the smokes. FaZe is just waiting, ready to strike the second that they peek around an edge. They've got covered. The smoke's still getting laid down thick, and New Happy just going to try to retreat. Looks like they might actually get away with it, too.
FaZe very, very good when it comes to urban endings. They're really good when it comes to up-close fights. Usually when you see them struggle is when they take casualties in the very early game on wide rotations and splits where they can't get to one another. Once they're playing shoulder to shoulder, leave Gustav out on the flank, have James and Vex sit pretty much next to one another and be pretty much the beef of the team, and then if Correction with his fight runs around and just does whatever he likes and finds kills everywhere.
I mean, look, they've been doing a fantastic job here so far. You can just see that they're playing it safe, right? Oh, Valley will take advantage of New Happy. They get the 2 kills there, but FaZe not taking too much. They're not trying to be greedy. They're just, you know, they're playing their zone, their area of control, and they're not expanding too much past that. So far, it's been able to keep them up all 4 strong.
I feel like the speed of urban endings was always slow, but it only got slower when people learned, oh wait, there's shotguns in the game? Now, all of a sudden, a solo in any given room, in any given building, can take out an entire team in an instant, and don't even get me started on Panzerfaust. So I think it makes perfect sense that these teams, they don't move unless if they absolutely have to. And right now, well, Tulins alongside Armory Gaming and Valtai are the only ones that really have to get something done. Armory Gaming, the ones, most importantly, having to make a play here.
Been in absolute abject fear and terror of the Panzerfaust peak. And,
you never know when it's going to happen.
You never know when it's going to happen. Quandon Freak's doing a damn good job of holding down center circle. They will pull back. They won't try to take too much here, not getting too greedy, but instead playing 2-2. They're going to keep eyes on Armory right here. Heaven with the angles does damage, doesn't get the knock, but Armory still have to make their way across a pretty wide open dead man zone. And if it's not Kwangdong Freaks, it might be Twisted Minds that do the duty.
I like that Freaks have kind of given up the northern side here because they know that Batulins is around and they know that there are two teams in the north still, so they know they can't both cross towards us without us having a ton of audible cues that they're starting the process of doing just that. So currently focusing full on the south and the western side where they know Armory Gaming has to make a move.
Okay, smoke wall laid down for Armory. It's going to be good enough to get Shanks across, but Ruse is right behind him. You see that blue zone slowly starting to make its way in. Ruse will play around the edge of it and will get in. So hard cover still to be found here for Armory. They slowly make their way in. Unfortunately, the terrain just not working out as well as it needed to for Freaks to be able to finish those two off.
Let's see now, Twisted Minds on the northern side. Again, these are the two teams that opted to wrap right behind one another, so they've been aware of each other's positions for the longest time. So, Colt with the nade in hand by Example will be the first one to fall as he peeks around once more, and Example with a double headshot takes out Starlord too.
An absolute problem for anybody who comes across him in the lobby is now Perfectix will finish off Starlord, Example, and Lou. Lou trying to peek through, will get flashed himself. He's got some room to work around. We'll try to play around the edges of this smoke. Americano, the last one left, the utility coming through. I think they know exactly where he is. Lou playing around that molly. Just gonna pre-fire. I think they know exactly where this man is, and there's just not really much you can do about it. But Perfectix gonna get spotted out by Latai.
Yeah, Veltai spots him from the side. Armory Game will fall that to the other side of the circle, and finally here, Lou able to get one creeping forward as the molly gets him back down on his knees. And now Example and Batulins. This road, again, they had to cross it before. They definitely have to cross it now. But how do they do so, and when do they do so with Batulins still over on the other side?
Navi still 3 alive. They've got to make their way across the road, but Valley Tide doing a very good job of area control here right now. Megalo's keeping eyes on that street. Kiss and Unk off to the north, also providing him some support. And it's not just Valley, though. It's going to be Kwangdong Freaks that are also eyes on that road. So it's Navi, it's FaZe, both having to make big moves. Fortunately, it looks like they've got a little bit of circle that they can still play in, so they don't have to fully commit to it just yet.
Everyone has a foot in the door, at least for now, but for Sample and Lou, they're still stuck on the wrong side of the road here, so smokes, you would imagine, have to be deployed even more so now than before, as Veltai sends at least one, kind of 1.5 player up towards that northern side to try and fend off smokes coming in. Blue Sonate smart to try and suppress on the other side.
And maybe a little bit too early, though, as
I don't know.
You can see, well, I mean,
nope, Lou down.
Well, there you go. Well, Lou's going to go down to the actual blue zone. I think Example is trying to dodge around, stay alive a little bit. Batulin's feeding information over to him. That grenade right on his knees, as Unk will get the credit for that kill. Example going to go down as well, and that's going to be two. I think Batulin's now the last one up for Twisted Minds, as Valley Tide doing work here in the late game in the city ending.
Oh, solid utility usage. Batulins, he's been up on these rafters before. He's going, wait, I'm the guy on the roof. I'm the GOAT. You can't come up and take my mountain or city mountain positions. And just like that, it's a Worms game of two players just lopping nades over each other hill to try and take each other out on the rooftops.
All right, let's see what Kwangdong Freaks can do. We can see, obviously, they're sitting in 14th place overall on that leaderboard. 21 points on the day, 3 kills already this game, but they can stand to gain so much. But that is a huge, huge knock from Batulins, as that is not going to be a resable player here for Freaks. They have to play the low side, but they know exactly where Batulins is. 14 alive, Toby, in this final phase, as the smoke grenades are coming thick and fast.
Full speed forward, FaZe try to make their way further in towards this one. Corrects you with the M249 in hand. Why reload when you got 160 bullets in the chamber? We'll see how many of those he's gonna get to use as they creep further forward.
Street side working here for FaZe. They managed to get everybody onto the road, keeping things blocked off from Navi. Navi paying attention there, rather to Valley. The trade coming through. Vex actually going to find the kill and the flush on the Soset. Batulins comes through. Batulins refusing to go down for Twisted Minds. Collects another point for our second place team in the lobby right here.
11 health left to work with for Batoons as he tries to creep further forward. Navi in the meantime on the other side of things tries to suppress on the roadside. Corrects, he will fall. But Batoons continues to stay alive, and him and Bean work together to take out FaZe Clan.
But Freaks gets a lot of kills there. But Tulins on a solo mission from God has 3 kills already. There he goes. He will be spotted out by Bean. Freaks now up to 7 kills as they rocket up the leaderboard.
Trying to stay put. There should be no way he gets Salute back alive. So crawl for info, my friend. See what you can do. Is he actually committing to this? There should not be a way that he's allowed to get this dress. But having said that, Latai is stuck on the other side of this courtyard. Will spot Diffix, and now the push on through. He saw him just before. First flash comes in. Second flash to follow. Does he catch him? At least he hears him as he sprints further forward. He lost him.
He's going to find a way. Azabine gets him behind the back. Valley Tie with a 9-kill victory. What an aggressive push at the end.
And it's the teams that opted to dip out of the south side confrontations that come out victorious. Great effort from Valatai to avoid the fights on the southern side and just creep their way in from the east. When teams tried to wrap up and take them out of their spot and said, no, either you die here or you go back to the rest of them. They maintained the buffer space, and in the end, they come out victorious.
I mean, I cannot say how impressed I am by that push there at the end from Valley Tie. For a team like that has not that much international experience, to be in a situation like that, to just aggro W-key push to make sure that they secure that win against a team like Freaks. I mean, Bean was just not expecting that push at all. Unbelievable stuff from Valley Tie. But that is going to do it for us here. We are going to throw it over to the desk to wrap up day 1.
And there you have it. Valley Tie Esports get themselves the final chicken dinner for the day here for PGS3, rounding out the Group A, B matches. And it did feel almost a little bit foretold throughout some of these games. I feel like Valley Tie has been making some good plays throughout the day. They had some good starts on Erangel to try and get themselves into the right spots. And eventually now it has paid off here on Miramar.
And also, what a chaotic ending to be able to finish this off. Of course, it came down to very few teams, very few players. Not like one team, 4 guys left just dominating. But that is usually what you see with these urban endings, right? Sure. It is chaotic. It is extremely hard to close things out. Very impressed with Bean, though, being able to clutch up against FaZe. FaZe actually had quite a lot of players alive, but he was able to pop off.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. I almost said, oh, no, I'm not going to do it. It's so stupid.
Don't do that.
We have got ourselves. Yeah, I mean, that's a fantastic situation considering it is so difficult in those kind of urban endings. We saw teams coming in a little bit late. I think it was Armour trying to go for the E pickup, and it almost felt like as they're dropping, they're being slightly indecisive, which means that you could potentially lose 1 or 2 on a move like that to try and make it work. Considering there's so many guns trained in that direction when you're trying to make this happen.
Yeah, and also, you know, you have so many teams and players alive in such a small space, right? Because of verticality,
Yes.
amount of houses, amount of hard cover, so it's hard to play around that. So a few teams trying to get some you know, kind of later on regaming. In this case, here's some pickups, and just it talks so many levels to how hard it is to actually get in. If you get in there too late, then you have to go on the edge and fight your way through the city. And if you don't get any circle off, it's practically impossible to do anything.
The amount of times we have talked about, once the E-pickups came into rotation of play here for competitive, there is like a window of time where it is valuable, useful to be able to get you to where you need to be. And of course, admittedly, there's been extra utility of it, right? Like you send one up to try and get starting, but that's not the case here. Like, so coming in that late, it does leave you a little bit vulnerable.
Yeah, even though you can pop it up until the very last second before circle 4 closes, right? Then, and in this case here, now that it's an urban indie, it's practically impossible. Sometimes you can actually make it happen, but here, circle 2, circle 3 there to make sure you get a spot in there, or actually try to get in before this city gets completely inhabited. Yeah. It's good to see some clever uses of them here and there, and I'm sure we're going to see more of them.
Yeah, definitely. So from Valley Tide here, being able to get themselves a little bit of extra points off of the back of this, again, being able to get this cleanup, I think good for the region as a whole, considering, again, it's a severe setup, a severe kind of format here to try and get you into that grand final. Do you think that Valley Tide can continue to be able to make it into the final eventually?
I hope they do well here, but of course they're not the most well-known team coming out of the region, of course.
True.
We see some bigger names coming in from that. We're going to see them play tomorrow, of course, but still, I'm having high hopes, I will say. It's only top 16 teams that are going to go through. It's only 8 teams that's going to go out, and we've seen, I would say, 4 or 5 of them in the bottom. If you're outside 20 points right now, you're going to have an extremely rough time getting out of that.
Yeah, and now that I think about those teams towards the bottom, right, obviously, actually there was a disproportionate amount of teams from Group A already kind of down towards that bottom position. So tomorrow, it's really, really agonizing